Roll call.
Mike Dolson, Tom McDonald,
Here.
Jamie Pluff,
Here.
Greg Dumontier, Carol Langford, Danielle Matt, here, Bing Matt, James Still Jr.,
Good morning.
Martin Charlo, Len Two Teeth, and Lenny Strand.
Okay, I believe that Martin will be joining later on Zoom. Mike is on work travel at the self-governance conference. Greg, would you mind leading us in a prayer this morning? Thank you, Greg. We have two sets of minutes from April 2nd and April 3rd. Abby, I just wanted to make a statement for the record on the last page. Where Jordan Thompson came in. I just wanted to statement for the record that first of all, I didn't think that this needed to be an executive session. It was regarding a personnel contract. And the statement that I want to make is this was the third time that Jordan came in with this contract. I had asked for deliverables on the first contract that had never been given to me because he was too busy. And this contract got approved when I was absent. And I wish that I would have gotten the information before that was approved.
Madam Chair. Just a few minor changes on the paragraphs where I was requesting the donations. I would like to just have their names removed.
Which page is that?
I believe it's the first page. Page number 1. Len Two Teeth requested donations for James Bible and LD and Nori Urban.
Okay, page 2, top of page 2.
I believe. Are we doing the April 2nd minutes? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Top of page 1.
Oh.
Or I should say the middle of page 1. Let's see, just make it Len Two Teeth requested donations. Period. And from basketball coaches that will be participating in the Battle of Nations. And then on the next donation request, just had Len Two Teeth inform council a tribal member will be organizing an Easter egg event and requested a donation. I just didn't know if they wanted their names in the check list. I mean, in a minute.
Okay, thanks, Len. Carol?
Was approved because I even mentioned your comments that I had received when we'd received them.
I was told that he was able to just have Mike work with him.
And we did it.
I don't know.
I was Carol. I don't remember that going to a vote. I remember there was discussion on that contract, but I don't recall us passing that.
We have, like I said, and like you said, Jamie, it didn't get delivered. I think the rest of the council was in the same, had the same concern.
I don't believe the contract was approved that day. I think what Jordan was going to do was invite the consultant over here to talk with council first. But I don't think we took an action to approve the contract.
Yeah, we didn't approve the contract, but we did give Jordan the go-ahead to pay the expenses of the consultant to come over. So he was going to figure out a way to do that. And that's the only thing that we approved.
I appreciate that information.
Madam Vice Chair.
Yes, Martin. Is that who?
So what, yeah, thank you, council. What, the deliverables were emailed, that was the new revised 69D, I believe you sent them out last week. The discussion was to have her complete the phase 2, and that would be the second part. So the deliverables were sent last week. Check emails. And instead of new contract, council directed him to have her come over and explain the deliverables to us.
Motion by Len. Seconded by Danielle to approve the April 2nd council minutes with corrections. All in favor? Bing abstains. We have the April 3rd quarterly minutes. Danielle?
Yeah, can I send Abby just a couple touch-up corrections on there? The way they're just phrased. Sure. Thank you.
Abby, I'm going to do the same thing on page 8 where I'll just send you just a few corrections of like I didn't go for Tawahi funding. I went to advocate for permanent funding, but I'll send you the corrections. It's just minor things. Bing,
Yeah, on page 5, can I get that, one sentence taken out where the 2 students narrowly attempted suicide? Can I get that removed out of there?
did you get that, Abby?
Yeah, I got it.
Thanks. Any further corrections?
Yeah. Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Yeah, during my update, I just wanted to make the one correction. I can make lots of corrections, but just one. I'm talking about the Welfare Act regulations, where I say dividends from any trust resource can be exempted. Please add any trust resource or corporation can be exempted. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Any further corrections?
Motion to approve.
I didn't hear what you said, Martin, sorry.
Sorry, Madam Vice Chair. I was making the motion to approve the minutes for the
Okay,
quarterly.
thank you.
Motion by Martin to approve April 3rd minutes with corrections, seconded by Tom. All in favor? Unanimous. Lenny, I see that we have 2 walk-ins. Is there any further additions to the agenda? Does council have any further additions to the agenda?
Yeah, I have to.
Carol? Go ahead,
I'll
Martin.
have an update also, please. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, no further additions to the agenda. Could I get action on today's agenda? Motion by Tom, seconded by Bing. All in favor? Unanimous. Jimmy? Ready?
Could we go into executive for this one?
Oh, you wanted executive session, didn't you?
How can we have him stay in if he's? How could we have him continue to stay in the pool when Greg kind of let him know? Okay. Right, because I did hear him say, well, if I stay in, and I didn't know if that was an option. I don't know. I was just clarification.
And like I said, I didn't know it was going to take that long because I knew he had been in here before. So I thought that there was some background information that you guys had, but I didn't have it. So if I would have known it was going to take that long, we probably should have scheduled something, but that was my call. Sorry. Hi, Jason.
Good morning, council.
Good to see you.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity once again to come back. Just don't want to take up too much of your time. First thing, just wanted to thank you for the progress from the March 24th meeting with the committee that was put together. We had a good meeting. I think everybody got the notes from that in regards to the progress. A lot of focus, as should be, on the Powell grounds getting ready for this year. And so we're able to sit in on that and get a sense, and you can see there from the notes of what's going to happen there. Justifiably so, though, the first meeting should have been focused on what's happening with the current powwow grounds and getting ready for this year's celebration. The reason I wanted to come back in and just stay in front of you is, and just continue the discussion, is on the future as far as where we're headed with this, you know, and as far as the bigger plan for redevelopment, new arbor, you know, at what point do we have a commitment and a program set up for that? In light of that, it's interesting. I want to let the council know it's a very recent development here that just came up yesterday. I was contacted. Jody Perez actually knows a young lady that is a architectural student in London. Spanish girl. I'm not sure the family connection or how, but she's here locally right now, and her and I are going to meet tomorrow. But she's had for some time, as I understand, a vision to do her master's architectural thesis on the Arley Powell grounds. And so at some point, I'm assuming she's going to come talk to you guys if she hasn't already. I don't believe so. But I'm gonna meet with her tomorrow and just kind of ask, who are you? What's your plan? Where are you at? You know, kind of do the detail work and figure out, and then give her some advice. You know, if this is a tribal owned facility, you might want to go talk to the council first. And, you know, if this is going to become a project that will produce something, then, you know, how can we help? What should be the process utilized? My hope is that this young lady doesn't have a vision that she'll just draw this nice big architectural drawings and pictures of something that's her dream, and that'll be it. If that's it, we've seen that come and go over the years with Montana State University and some of the projects they've taken on in the past for the tribe. At least that's been my experience. So hopefully it'll be a process. And that's what needs to happen at some point in time, a firm process laid out where we, you know, hire somebody or somebody like this comes along and we go through a community planning process, get all the input you can get from anybody that has interest in that, the tribal membership, and they will, you know, lead to a planning process that will produce something that then the council can come back and see and start putting some numbers and plans and phases to and commitments, you know, to get that thing done out into the future. So with that, you know, like I said, next month when I come back, I'll have more detail, or maybe she'll come even before then, you know, depending on where this thing leads and heads to. But I was kind of encouraged because I was wondering, and again, that's my main point being here today is I just don't want us to forget about the future, the bigger plan, the redevelopment down there. You know, I watched a video the other day of Johnny R. Lee back 20, 30 years ago, recorded a video on the old Arley powwow and how it originally was, how the design of the arbor was done, and how everybody camped around that facility, you know, and it was in a circle. You know, the circle has meaning, and all of that history, I think, is something that we need to remember as far as how we redesign this and move in the future. So
Go ahead, Martin.
we already got families staking their claim to the new arbor, where they're gonna sit and where they're gonna camp right beside it. Just let you know that.
hopefully that day will come. Yes.
So you guys had the meeting with all the programs and everything. Is that what you're talking about? You'll come back next month with the group, okay?
Yeah, we're scheduled to meet again. That committee is meeting on April 21st. And so we're going to just continue that work. I don't know if you saw those notes, but there's a lot of work for Tribal Lands Department to accomplish between now and July, getting ready for this year's powwow. That is the focus right now. And that's kind of my point is, yeah, that's great. Let's get that done. But the future still needs to not be forgotten.
Okay, Bing?
Hey, Madam Chair. Jason, any plans and any dates on when they're gonna start working on that Powell grounds? Cause we don't wanna wait for the last 2 weeks again before we start. You know, cause we said there's a lot of work to be done down there and I guess there's some outside toilets that gotta be put in yet and whatnot. And,
Yep.
hopefully, they get put in the right place.
Yeah.
Cause I guess,
Well, I know Cornell's main concern and most of the committee's main concern was the redevelopment of the vendor area. You know, and that serves several purposes. First and foremost, just convenience for the vendors and having access to power and what they need, but also redeveloping that because there is more demand. And that's a generator, income generator for the committee. And so there's a big push to make that happen. That was first and foremost in the discussion with the committee here a couple weeks ago. And Cornell did meet with some members of Tribal Lands last week and laid out a plan. So they're going to get started with Mission Valley Power, as I understand, to redesign that, put in some new pedestals and make that more accommodating to the future and more vendors.
Tom?
Thank you. One question about the student, is she a landscape architect or a structural architect?
I don't even know that. I've had one brief conversation with her via text messaging, setting a meeting to meet with her tomorrow in person.
I don't know the status of MSU's School of Architecture. They have both of those.
Yeah.
And I engaged with them twice, but never once have I ever engaged with them or Idaho, the School of Architecture down there, did with them one time, where it was just a tribal project.
Yeah.
All the ones I've been participating with is a community project, so they're scoping
Yeah.
everybody. But what they bring is both the landscape architect students and the structural architect
Yeah.
students and the faculty to be on hand to be able to scope that out and come
Yeah.
up with different alternatives. So I don't know how one student from Spain could outdo that or outperform that, but it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah,
you.
that's why I was really hesitant to engage and bring her into too much discussion yet, because I want to sit down and just kind of get a better understanding of where she's coming from and what her thoughts are, you know, and not get too excited about this until we have an understanding of what she's thinking as far as her project. Because that's ultimately what she's about. I'm understanding is producing something that gets her degree. That's all.
Well, okay. Oh, Martin?
Sort of curious, you may not know this, I may need to ask John. Will the transformer and everything, the infrastructure support the new outlets and everything? Is
Well,
MVP gonna
that
have
was
to-
a part of the discussion we had at the meeting a couple weeks ago, is that in a full evaluation by Mission Valley Power for revamping all of that power system down there, so we don't run short of power and cause outages and you know issues with that. As far as I understand from the meeting, we're supposed to be a full review of the structure and the integrity of the system down there with this redesign.
I know the load was fine with what existing, I just worry that
Yeah,
some of those are gonna be 220s, I'm assuming, right?
yeah,
For the vendors.
yep, yeah.
Well, thank you, Jason. I think that every year we always hear, you know, that there's work to be done and things that are needed. So I really appreciate your time taking it upon yourself to really push this moving forward. And it looks like it is moving forward due to your persistence. And I think it's needed for sure.
I don't know if it's just me, but I'm not here to be that guy, but I'm hoping that we can get something bigger and greater in the future. That's kind of the intent.
For sure. We appreciate you coming in.
I'll see you next month. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Jason. I believe that forestry canceled. So we have Evan. And Virgil.
So I applied for this permit, but I have the person that's in charge of the permit here, so I'm gonna let him take over.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the Tribal Council. We're applying for a natural resource collection permit to collect data on the effectiveness of the Eurasian water milfoil treatments in Pablo Reservoir. You've been updated on that, I'm sure. It's a big problem. We have I think it's a 5-prong approach to try to figure out what the best long-term method will be. One will be just by putting in, and we've already established where the transects are with Evan's help and some other natural resource staff. Some permanent transects. We geolocated those so we can go back and find those same transects, and we'll be physically doing rake throws during later season, full pool, over the treatment zones to see what we pull up physically. Over those same transects, we'll be doing drawdown surveys where we'll go out on the ground in late summer, about the time the treatments actually happen, hopefully a little bit before, to collect data on the emerging sprouts. Eurasian will restart resprouting in the fall. I believe there's 5 different treatments out there, 5 or 6 different treatments we have to evaluate. There was several different herbicides used. Most of those herbicides don't start exhibiting their effectiveness until the next year. So starting this June, we do want to do some another trial using underwater drone to take images so we can physically see what effect the herbicides have had. Is it resprouting? How much is it resprouting? We also will do some aerial drone imagery because Eurasian does exhibit itself on the surface later in the summer. And then also we want to implement a underwater sonar system that a consultant who's consulting on EWM, Andrew Skibo, he's a chemical expert, aquatic chemical expert, and he's been consulting with the irrigation project and with our office and with whoever wants to visit with him. But he has been doing the sonar detection, and he has the equipment, he has the boat, so we're just going to contract with him to go out and survey those same transects. And in a few years after we hone this down, we'll probably only end up using 1 or 2 of these methods, maybe 2 or 3 of these methods to continue to evaluate the effectiveness of the treatments. Hopefully we can locate those funds so that those treatments do continue. Actually, we have a meeting at 1 o'clock. There's a EWM meeting this afternoon. We're also conducting a identification workshop at 1 o'clock with the irrigation ditch riders. It's up at the Red Lion. So our office is helping with that so that they can hopefully identify it. As of now, it has not been detected in down ditch waters, and that's a good thing. So all these are pretty non-invasive kind of surveys. Oh, we also have a pending permit with the Fish and Wildlife Service as they are the relationship. They'll be involved with the approval as well. In that, we specifically have the drones identified that we want to use, and there are some questions about that. And so they will be the ones evidently determining the equipment and whatnot we can use. And we'll keep you updated. Any questions?
Tom?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Virgil, the treatments or anything that's gone before in Pablo Reservoir, has there been this kind of disturbance as you're being proposed? No, probably not. So is any mitigation in trying to keep the plant particulate to going down the canals? We're not going to be there with the underwater equipment. We'll be doing those before the plant comes up to the surface. We're timing that so that we're not going to be our props won't be tearing up the plants. Is that answer your question? Yeah, I just trying to minimize what would go down the canals. Exactly. Boy, it's not, yeah. Yeah, we've tried to address that, and I think we have. Because we'll be doing all of our physical monitoring either in the water at a time when we won't be doing that. Thank you. Yeah, we will need permission to utilize some motors. We do have a trolling motor, electric trolling motor we can put on a small John boat. I'd like to have permission to put our 15 horse out there too. But we can deal with that as we go, I guess.
Motion by Martin to approve a collection permit to monitor the effectiveness of Eurasian milfoil at Pablo Reservoir, seconded by Greg. Any further questions or comments? All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, Virgil. Thank you,
Thanks.
Evan.
Thank you, Evan.
Thank you.
Joe?
Good morning, Madam Chair and tribal council members. We're here with two requests this morning. First one is to approve a task order with SKMM to begin the process for the work around the Anchor Way property. So they will help us manage the A&E work and as we get to that stage, the subsequent construction or remodel project when we get to that point. But request today is approve a task order with SKMM to manage the contract contract with the architect engineering firm Jacola Engineering. That's the first request.
Any quick, is that a motion, Carol? Motion by Carol to approve the task order with SKMM for Anchor Way. Seconded by Martin. All in favor? One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 approval when Danielle's out of the room. Go ahead, Len.
Thank you. Joe, have we set a date on when the DHRD homeless initiative will, or the homeless program will have to vacate the premises?
Len, I believe the strategy is for those individuals who are not transitioning to the supportive housing down at Ronan. Their target date was mid-April. For those families who are approved to move into the transitional housing, I think they will remain in that space until those units are ready for them to move directly.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, good deal.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Go ahead.
So as you're aware, we've tried to keep you informed as much as we can about Anchor Way. A&E, maybe John, Tyson's not here. Probably 6 to 8 months for the A&E work to complete, followed by the remodel, I don't know, a year, John?
Yeah, September. September, the A&E should be done. And then probably a couple weeks after that, construction can begin.
We're a year to 18 months out before we can transition into that property. So just kind of create a timeline for you to understand. Yeah.
So when that occurs, what are we expecting? What exactly is tribal health going to be doing there? What are the services that are going to be provided there?
the east portion of the property will be used for intensive outpatient. The behavioral health program will use that space. Public health will occupy some space there. We're including a kitchen, community kitchen area, so we can do some of the meals or the food prep or the food planning. So there'll be a kitchen in the portion of it. The travel coordinated care division will occupy, the DHIP program will occupy a portion of that building. And then there's some apartments also included in the building and a fitness center. So multi-use. Yeah. Yep. All right.
Go ahead.
Anything to add, John? Nope. So we're good. That's that issue. We'll get that started. So we'll route contracts or task orders, however that works. Second issue is, I've also tried to inform you, we are asking for a budget approval to create what I call a hippy dippy program, health promotion, disease prevention. We're asking for $100,000 budget to support the hippy dippy program that will support the exercise equipment at the walking tracks. I think we will, a strategy is to maybe support them sequentially. Maybe this year, Elmo, and then following years, we'll continue to use that program to support exercise equipment at different walking tracks. In addition, we get, I don't know how big, we get multiple requests to support sports programs or individuals who are active. So we intend to use a portion of that budget to support some of those requests. We'll create some policy around that, I think, to figure out how best to manage that. And any others? And then support access to the Mission Valley Aquatic Center with a portion of the budget for population.
Oh,
Vice Chair. Joe, I guess the question I have was, where does the money come from? What is it, third-party revenue?
It'll be third-party revenue, correct?
And so we're struggling with a fitness playground right now, getting it on the ground, and really hope that Mr. Nice could help us out here and get this thing rolling, but or help our friend Jennifer out. We have all the equipment there, and it's right across from the health clinic in Ronan, and I think Sam has said, yeah, she's going to go over there and use it with the kiddos and physical therapy. Can we attach the extra funding portion to this? Is this available immediately once we approve it?
That's how I understand it, correct, yes.
So could we add funding to take care of that prep to get that thing going so we can get that thing installed this spring yet?
I may be incorrect. I believe the grant supported all that, but to what extent necessary, I think we can support. I mean, our request is $100,000.
What Push Play provided for the tribes was a gift of the equipment and the installation by the contractor once the site is available, kind of prepped up, ready for them. And we identified the site. There's been some scarification of that location, I think, by tribal roads. But what it is, it's a playground mat that goes in and the equipment goes on top. But the playground mat really needs a containment wall, which is either just concrete curbing or sidewalking. And then also we need to have a safe pedestrian crosswalk on that street that would require flashing light just to make sure the traffic, as it increases in traffic through time, we'll make sure the kiddos and their moms and dads and grandparents can walk across that street. And I think Sam has requested that as a minimum infrastructure improvement for safety. That needs to be put in also. So the funding there isn't quite there. It's enough for, I think, Push Play could afford just doing some simple curb stopping to contain the rubber mat. But it'd be nice just to go ahead and throw in the sidewalk around that. Maybe even, I don't know about the parking lot, but the lighting for sure and the crosswalk would be added to. This looks like a perfect place to put this. And also the consideration of future Push Play donations on every one of our reservation communities. It's multi-generational play equipment that, 90-year-old grandmother can go out there with her great grandkids and play, participate, and it's that kind of equipment that allows a lot of education to it, native flora and fauna, language, etc. So it's unique.
Yeah, I guess I don't have a sense of that cost, but certainly if we can visit with whoever's planning that and figure out what that estimate is for that additional work around that.
Well, there was a cost estimate that Lands has produced for basically all the sidewalk work that would start that pathway to do a trail there also, pathway. I think Mark's request was around 250,000 to do all the sidewalk work, the parking lot, et cetera, which is all connected to all this outdoor physical fitness, whether it's the pickleball court, basketball courts, the skate park, the playground, the walking paths, all of those things. It's all related to tribal health and this absolutely cool preventative budget that you're presenting right now. So I would make the motion that we add all of that to it if we could, if your third party revenue, which I assume can absorb that, we would just do it.
Greg,
Tippy dippy.
Sure.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have two questions. The first one, well, I think it's a great project here, but there are a couple details that I think need to be filled in. One is we just had a district meeting last night in Arley. We were talking about the Arley walking path and the skate park and that kind of stuff. And the issue came up. It's great that we're putting these things in, but we need to make some provisions for maintenance on those things. So I'm just curious as to what the maintenance plan is for the 3 walking paths that you're proposing here in terms of the improvements, that kind of stuff. The second part of the question just goes to the how the aquatic center membership support would work. So you have 25,000 set aside for that. And I assume that it's going to be so much per individual or whatever, but I'm curious as to how an individual becomes eligible for that.
I can speak to the aquatic membership. So we've had conversations with the director there, and currently we have patients that are engaged in certain tribal health programs like diabetes and lifestyle medicine are using the aquatic center. And what they do is they give us the drop-in rate for the day until the individual comes 4 times a month, and then they convert it to the monthly rate. And so we end up saving money after they hit that 4 times a month. So it will be worked out similar to that. We've talked about they have the barcode scan-in system. So maybe people who are eligible for tribal health will have some sort of a notation on their barcode so they know how that they're part of the tribal health crew and to do the billing separately for them. And so it is just a process that I've talked to the director about. She's confident that they can work something out that will work for that. The piece that we have to really hash out at Tribal Health is how we're going to hand those barcodes out to everyone who wants one. Because what we're saying is that anybody who's eligible for Tribal Health is eligible to go swim at the aquatic center. So we will figure out the handing of them out.
So if I can just finish that thought. So it's important that they engage with us because it creates a sustainability model. So to just hand them out to anybody doesn't make sense. It just, I'll say cash out. But if we can have some requirements about them engaging with one of our programs, we can bill for those services if they have a payer and create some sustainability for that program. So it's important that we have some guidelines around them engaging with us to do that. Yeah.
Tom.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Looks like a great use of our tribal health ID card. Yeah, you know, that it's a card and you don't upgrade or, you know, renew every year. You're not in the system, you can't go to the Mission Valley Aquatics. So I guess that would advocate for the tribal ID card.
Carol.
Yeah, I had one of those little tags, and then for some reason it expired. Well, my diabetes didn't expire, so I don't know if, and then I had to start paying. So I think you got to be cautious about making sure that they aren't kind of double dipping from both sides.
Yes, certainly some logistics around that. We also have an ID system for the fitness center, so I don't know, what the best strategy is to coordinate that, but, yeah, so a lot of good ideas. Again, want to create some sustainability around the requirements. We don't maintain the walking paths now. We're proposing to add the equipment to those spaces.
Tom?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Vice Chair again. There's a lot of pedestrian pathways out there. And so I would advocate that they wouldn't just be on ours, that they'd be on any public one that you do that. My question on the aquatic center is that one of the things when we crafting that and building it, setting it up and trying to figure out how is it really a Mission Valley Aquatic Center, is it a Pulse Aquatic Center, is getting those people to the place. So in this strategy of membership, is there a transportation thought on how we get our people there, or the kiddos or the seniors?
Yeah, I think we would encourage them to utilize the DHRD transportation system. We have transporters if it meets the criteria for medically related, I think we can get them to them. So I think a combination of DHRD, some of our transporters might be a good strategy until we get a better sense of what the demand is and how we might better meet that requirement.
Well, I think that's one of the issues. People just don't know how to get there. They can't get there.
Yeah.
But price of gas, et cetera. So I think if you roll it out with maybe a designated itinerary, some kind of schedule that you're offering from a community to get up there and go swimming,
yeah,
might be beneficial to increase that interest and success of the program.
Yeah, we can reach out to DHRD about creating a scheduled trip. Okay.
I know that the Polson schools offer like after school like programs, and I think that would be good for not just Polson, but for other schools on the reservation with that bus service provided.
Yep.
I had a question regarding the sports program donations, because a lot of people come in here for donations, everywhere else. How do you determine those donations, and who do they go to ask? How does that work?
So right now we were talking about youth programming. And so not necessarily individuals who want to compete somewhere. It's really about a team. So most likely a team that's affiliated with a school or a club team. We haven't worked out the logistics yet because we don't know what the demand is going to be this first year. So we haven't worked out like how much they would get or how many of these, sponsorships we would be able to offer. It's really understanding the demand, what the demand's going to be.
Danny?
I missed part of the conversation. I apologize, but I think about the sports sponsorships and like right now baseball's starting and I'm watching online parents trying to get, little cleats or just the equipment the kids need to participate in the sport. And I see that during basketball season and other sports, knee pads for volleyball and track shoes. And I guess, is there a program that assists with that, or is there somewhere else that you're aware of, or is there a thought process to help our kids, I guess, be able to participate? I mean, you need the things to participate, otherwise they're missing out.
Again, we'll get a better sense once we're operating, but it's a small bucket and we're trying to do a lot of things with it. So we're going to try to get the best value for the buck, if that's the way to do it. And initially supporting teams, so we support as many people as possible rather than, there are a lot of individual requests that we get sometimes, and certainly you get. I don't know if we can spread the dollars best that way. So we'll learn. We'll learn over the course of the year as we roll this out.
And just to add to that, I have a daughter that's on the Lake Monster swim team. And so I also know the importance of buying equipment, and there's always new swimsuits and always new goggles and always new swim caps. And so my experience in going to ask for donations from other organizations is that they can detail on here, we want you to use this for equipment, or we want you to use this for swimsuits for the whole team. And so we could, think of something like that. So it makes the burden less on the parents, so that their kids can participate.
Tom.
I'm going to advocate for something that for youth that nobody really supports around here, and that's youth going to, a program that we'd set up for our tribal kiddos to go golf. Because golf is a sport that you go your entire life. And walking, and there really isn't much there. We have a tribal course right over here. Every community, closer on in, here have them, and maybe we get more golf or disc golf is another one that could be set up, and really set up a program for that. That would be unique and just a standalone program. So I mean, even Joe in his near to be retirement could be an instructor, take some kids out there and show them how to hit the ball badly.
Show them how to look for balls out.
Yeah, how to get in the rough.
Yeah. How
wait
to
around in the tall weed.
in the rough.
Yeah, but I think thinking outside of the box of things that are unmet needs would be cool, and it'd be nice to see more of our folks get into golf, because you can play it your whole life. It's like one of those sports that's pretty cool.
Yeah, again, roll it out. We'll learn and adjust as we learn things, but want to get it started.
Yeah.
We do support Ralph's kind of golf camp. One of our programs does it. One of the grant programs support that. So
I would just like to take this time just to say that Lance came up with, it was basically $79,000 that would be needed to finish the stake and do the sidewalk around the proposed playground in Ronan, and I would propose that we add that to your plan, and also have John Nice assist with this to make sure we get it done, because I think John's the guy.
okay, so the request is $179,000.
Let's round it up to 180.
Carol.
I have one more thing that's kind of outside of this. We got that taken care of. I've been reminded lately that tribal health is a tribal organization, and that we need to have some cultural sensitivity training for new individuals that are coming in. And it specifically mentioned your program, Ms. Kleinmeyer. And so I just wanted to say that. Thank you. Do we need a motion on that other thing?
Well, I was asking Tom if that was a motion
Yes,
for
motion. Yep.
180 per year.
Yep, but it includes the work at the Ronan push play playground site.
Okay, motion by Tom to approve the 3-year community wellness plan. Is that what you're calling it? With an addition of the push play of 80,000 per annually. Correct. Comment? Okay, go ahead, Lynn.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair, and I support the request, but just a couple of comments on this. First question I had is why we just listed the 3 communities, and if you have plans to include the rest of the communities, and why we got to do it a year by year, because now just the way it's listed out there, almost got to wait 2 years before they get access to the funds. Okay, but I understand it's just a project. I know there's details that need to be worked out, and what we need to, or how we can learn from getting the program to work successfully for everybody. In regards to the youth sports team support, I think we need to take a really close look at that, because especially in today's day, because of parent supports for their kids to participate in any sport is expensive, and we all know that. And I just seen gas went up to $3.90 a gallon now, and it's going to be going up all summer. And I would like us to consider using those funds to help, to allow the use of, parents to use that to attend the sports events for their kids. And as somebody mentioned, baseball season's coming up. That's extremely expensive because as we all know, in the summer months, these hotels double and triple their prices per night, you know, and that's hard on everybody, especially when the gas prices are going up. But I do appreciate the fact that you guys included this type of support. But I think we should just keep in mind on how we can allow other expenditures with this funding, and if we can just, rather than list it per community, utilize it for everybody on an annual basis for every community. So.
It's my understanding that you have them listed because those are just the walking paths, but all the services are for everybody. Okay, okay. We have a motion on the floor, seconded by Len, and I just wanted to comment that with all of these services, I mean, I know that there's questions asked, but could we like do a report? As Carol said, I think we have questions like, you know, we have this money and then what kids are being served. And, you know, I think people tend to get the perception that some people, you know, pick and choose or whatever. So could we get a report like to come in, like what youth sports are served, who's using the, you know, the aquatic center, just all of this so that we could get a report like quarterly or something to that effect, so that we know and the who's being served, like tribal members, you know, etc.
Yep.
Motion and second on the floor. Greg?
Yeah, I just want a little clarity on the motion. So the proposal or the ask here was for 100,000 a year for 3 years, and I understand that the motion is to bump that up to 180. And I'm curious as to whether or not that additional 80 carries through into the second and third year as well.
I know it would be just for the first year.
Okay. All in favor? All in favor? What was that? Okay, motion approved. Danielle?
No, I guess I really enjoy that there's walking paths and Elmo and Arlie and Mission, and hopefully Ronan will have a nice path there soon through their new park. But I would hope, I mean, I always feel bad. Like we have so many people with accessibility issues, and I'm hoping our roads are done this year, but they can't even go down the road to get to the park to a flat piece of pavement in our neighborhood, not even on the city roads. Well, we've got sidewalks through the main part of town, but you know, it'd be nice to get our people outdoors, no fitness center. I mean, just lots of obstacles in the way. And I understand that, you know, serving the communities with a larger population is a must, and those should come first. But, you know, my kids aren't going to make it to the aquatic center. And the aquatic center, you know, we're $25,000 to aquatic center. I mean, I could use $300 in skateboards or skateboard equipment. You know, those are the small things that would serve our rural communities best. It's not in the thousands of dollars. You know, we would be happy with just a few $100s worth of support for small things. I think Tom said we could get some fishing poles like from NRD, but no hiking shoes for those kids, or yeah, life jackets for when they're down at the river. But I'd really just like to see our people with these accessibility issues, you know, able to get outdoors, or even a path to the river one day would be nice, so they can get down there and have a fishing access. But though those are all dreams, I'm really excited for these programs, but I really want you to think outside the box in the coming years on how do we really help these rural and remote areas, or these kids that are out in the farms, and that there are people too, and not everybody lives in the city. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, I agree. Just like with reporting, I'm asking, like, be creative in getting the information out there, because I know sometimes I'll see like something on the tribal health Facebook page or something out there. But I think that a lot of people need to understand that it is for everybody. Like the walking, running events, like I've noticed that a lot of it is just a lot of tribal health employees. But if the information was out there, I think more people would know that it's for them. And it needs to be community wellness, which means the whole reservation. So I just hope that the information gets out there and it's clear that it's for everybody. Joe?
Yeah, this is the start, and certainly not a requirement to have a walking path to have access to the equipment. We understand that not every community has a walking path, so that'll be included kind of as we build this and learn. So I don't need a walking path to run every day. So we'll find spaces where it makes sense in the communities. Part of it, Lynn, I think, is part of it capacity. I mean, we can't do everything all at once. We're going to work towards that. So it'll be years. We'll create some measures for you, and I anticipate they'll be included in the health committee meetings every month. So there'll be some kind of metric I anticipate will be included. So you'll understand kind of where we're at. I think we'll bring in those policies or guidelines as we build a program. So you'll have some input into how we spend these dollars too. This starts the process. So you'll be engaged in the build too as we go along. Yeah, and again, it's important that we think about sustainability too. So we have a resource now, but we've got to continue to add back into the pot so we can do it. So we've got to build it in a way that's sustainable, not just finding a whole bunch of ways to spend money. How do we create some kind of loop so we can do this over a long time, not just until the money's gone? So just a lot to plan around.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Again, third-party revenue, different ways we can build that up and generate new revenue. Just to get the equipment, just a footnote, it was years and years ago when my daughter started working at Tig River School, and went to a game, and I was looking at the players, and they were taking off their tennis shoes and giving to the next player to get out there and play. And I'm going, holy crap, they don't have tennis shoes. And so there was like 4 players that didn't have shoes, and they would borrow the other players' shoes to go play. So we bought the whole team shoes. But it's that the limitation of equipment sometimes is a barrier for people to engage in anything. So really, I think to think about having an equipment scholarship that would be part of this program just to get people out. The other thing that's kind of tragic in our systems is to expand or create intramural programs in the school systems, because not everybody can be on the varsity basketball team or the varsity wrestling team, but they all may want to do it. So it's like sponsoring or creating a league of different things, and then everybody gets a chance to engage and becomes more inclusive of everybody versus just an elite 10 people. So certainly equipment is very needed, and goes to Danielle's point about fishing poles or skateboards or whatever it might be, so that they go do it. If they don't have the bat and the ball, they can't go play baseball, so anyway, thank you, Madam Chair.
Yeah. Injury prevention might be able to support Life Fest. You should reach out, or if you can connect, we can talk about having Life Fest available for folks, and helmets for sure.
Well, thank you. Community wellness is important, and we're looking forward to seeing how it turns out. Thanks, Chelsea. Okay. Thanks, John. Thanks, Joe. Charmel. Is everybody ready for a break, or we good? Okay, we're going to take 5 minutes, Charmel. Charmel
Good morning,
and crew.
Madam Chair and Tribal Council. I just wanted to take a moment before we get started. The last time we were here with our policy, we had our loans division, our compliance division came and met with you. And the feedback that I got was so positive because they don't get a chance to come over here and meet tribal council. So I wanted to introduce you to our operations division today and just give them a chance to meet you because we highly regard our tribal government. So this opportunity is great. I'll start at that end of the table. Tori Matt has been with Tribal Credit for more than a year now. She started in cash receipts. She had an opportunity to apply for in-house promotion. She's now our accountant. And she's also recently, you might have seen her in the tribal or the Lake County Leader where she was highlighted for her post-secondary online schooling and scholarships and the work that she's doing to get her degree in accounting. So she's been a really great assistant in getting a lot of our accounting stuff in order. Tori Matt, if you'd like to tell me anything more about yourself briefly. Family, you know, our cultural tradition, our cultural way is talk about your family. So I'll give them a second, but let me finish introductions. So Sierra Webster is new with our department. She joined us just about 3 weeks ago. I think she's on her 4th week. And she came in the cash receipts clerk position and is just started off with a bang. I mean, her ability to pick up our procedures and work well with our customers is really refreshing and appreciate her being on staff. Jolene Hool is on her 2nd week with us. This is the beginning of her 2nd week. So Jolene was a candidate for our opening with credit operations officer position. She started with us the beginning of last week and again, just hit the ground running, already learning our software system and running accounts payables independently and just stepped in really well to a place that was much needed. So just give you a chance to say hello to them.
Go ahead, Tori, you're on the spot.
Well, thanks for that. I have only been here since I was like 12. So I actually grew up in Spokane, but I am married to a Matt. So before you ask me which family I'm from, I'm married a Matt. And that's as far as we go. But my husband's actually one of the IOs here with the tribe.
Welcome, Tori. Sierra?
I'm Sierra Webster, from the Websters out of Ronan. Grandparents are Frank and Dorothy Webster, and my descendancy comes down from Mary Strong Old Woman and Nellie Quick to See through the Mine Singers. And I grew up here and just recently returned just like 2 years ago now? Yeah.
Welcome, Sierra. Jolene?
Good morning, Jolene Hool. I know I've seen a lot of your faces. You may recognize me from being at Eagle Bank. I was at Eagle Bank for 18 years, serving as the chief financial officer. So I'm very honored to come over to this capacity as a operations officer. I think I have a lot to offer. I have a lot of experience and knowledge, and I think it's a great match that we got put together. And it's also, I just want to share with you, I am occupying the same office as Major Fred Hool did back in the day. Major Fred Hool was my uncle. Bob Hool is my dad. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing to know. But I'm really grateful to be here. And it's feels like I'm home. So thank you.
Welcome, Jolene. Well, thank you, Charmel, for the introductions. I think it's nice that we get to meet all of the staff in the tribal organization. So thanks for bringing some new faces to see us.
Thank you for that opportunity, and you're welcome to head back or stay if you'd like. We're going to go ahead and we're here today, Madam Chair and Tribal Council, to review with you the organizational chart that we've presented to you.
Nice to meet you guys. Bye.
Yes, thank you very much.
May I stay?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Jolene would like to stay to kind of get a feel for the exchange here. So first of all, I want to acknowledge that I have stepped back and taken a greater look at your needs for understanding the former and the current proposals. And I want to say that, you know, I'm learning how to better communicate with you, and I appreciate the opportunity to come back today. So I did provide for you, I kind of took the lead of how you see the crosswalk documentation and federal sites when they have old policy, new policy. So that's the format that I chose to present to you for organizational chart crosswalk. It kind of gives an idea, and I provided you with the visuals of the old approved org chart that was approved in August of 2024. And then with the new proposal, which I refined some of the titles and took out some of the noise that was on there that may have been a little bit distracting. And then so the crosswalk kind of gives you the nuts and bolts of old versus new. And if you have any questions on that, I'd be happy to field those questions.
Greg?
Thank you, Madam Chair. First a comment and then I guess, you know, a couple questions. And my comment is on the organization chart that I think unless there are significant changes to existing staff, right, in terms of either their pay or their authority being increased or diminished or something like that. Unless there's any significant increase like that, to me, it's kind of a slam dunk. So you're the manager and we expect you to manage. And if we tie your hands and say you can't organize it the way that you want to, is kind of counterproductive, right? So that being said, the questions that I have is, does this affect the employees at the mid-management level in a way that negatively impacts them, either in terms of their salary or their authority or their ability to be able to act?
Okay, I appreciate that question. I'm going to try to answer it in a way that is conducive for open session, public, unless you'd like to go into executive session.
If we're gonna talk that in depth about what this org chart does to the personnel there, yeah, we should go in executive.
I can give you a standard answer though, and then if you'd like more, we can do that, whatever you'd prefer. Yeah, I can certainly do that. So, so the differences between what you see as now would be like a program manager or a division manager line up here, the three in the middle. Those formerly were all laid out in these five officer positions, and substantially no change would be made other than it kind of brings the loan division, it brings it to one decision point and more of a place of accountability, I guess, for more of alignment in all of the different loan types that we manage. And it gives them a chance to be a little more put together as far as how they're going to deliberate and make decisions about loan portfolio management. So that's the best benefit, I think, or one of the major benefits that we're going to get from it. I really don't see that it's going to make much of a difference, if any, in the previous benchmarking that was done. And I'm going to work really closely with personnel to make sure that, you know, we understand what we're doing as far as refining those positions. But the roles and responsibilities aren't changing in a major way, other than the accountability level. Now, I think it comes in better alignment with the other org charts that the tribe does, where there are program managers and division managers in other departments. And so it's more understandable in those terms. They're not like officers, they're program manager type positions, which is standard in the organization. The first line of the organization, there's a large blend of duties. So like the cash receipts clerk, for example, there's so much more in customer service and loan servicing that position does, records management, things like that. So operations specialist will be more reflective of that, but probably won't largely change the scope of pay scale, benchmarking type things. So it's really, I think, just helping to clearly define roles and responsibilities and bring accountability throughout the organization.
So no promotions or demotions as a result of this?
I really anticipate, no, not that I can foresee, other than in this loan division where there were 3 loan officers and we're making one come up for kind of a program manager. There may be something there. I don't know that for sure yet. I need to work with personnel to find out if that triggers something, but that does call out one of those individuals to be responsibility point.
Martin?
So I think the simple way of asking this is how many of these positions will be reclassified? And you don't know that yet?
So the answer to that is kind of, I don't want to seem elusive. When we redo the position description and change the title, technically all of them get reclassified potentially. I need to be able to show them if there are major changes in those, which there's probably going to be one that, and that's the loan position, that there may be major changes in. So there's potentially a reclassification for that one, I would imagine. I think the rest are going to stay the same. And I'm not even positive about that being a true reclassification, because the roles and responsibilities will be the same. There's still supervision in that position today. And those are usually the triggers. So I really don't expect a major reclass.
The other question I had was you were advertising a position that the title was from the old org chart. And if we change the org chart, that changes that position that was advertised, and I'm assuming is in the, I'd hope it's in the screening process by now.
Yeah, so all of the positions that we had advertised have been filled, the cash receipts clerk and the credit operations officer position. And really, you're pointing to a matter of timing that I was about to have a train wreck on. So it's probably a good thing that we stepped back and waited for this, because the timing of when those go in, we advertised in January and expected to have those filled long before we came in for our policy and org chart. But the timing just didn't work out perfectly. And now we have all of the positions filled. Everything is in order.
What was was there a change in the budget? Or how is it the same? Is the budget the same from? Okay.
Yeah, there is no change in the budget for personnel costs. The budget has been in place the same, I believe, for the last 2 budget cycles. There might have been slight changes in cost of living over the 2 budgets that I've looked at, but it would not change.
Any other questions? Is that a motion, Martin?
I'm good with it.
Motion by Martin, seconded by Bing. All in favor? 7, 4, 1 abstention Danielle, and 1 against Tom.
Thank you very much, Tribal Council. I appreciate your time today.
And thank you for sending that information regarding the policy. I did send, or you sent it to all of council, correct? So after council has time to review that, if we have any further questions, we may ask you to come back.
Certainly, I appreciate that.
Okay.
Have a great afternoon.
Resolution?
Did,
Oh, thank you very much.
I was going to say the bank signatory.
Thank you for reminding me of that. Absolutely important that we ask you to consider the resolution we provided, which would update our signatures for all of our bank accounts. This is the format that has always existed as far as the lineup of individuals. We would have the credit operations officer, mortgage loan officer, personal loan officer listed as in-house signatories. As well as second signature required on all drafts from either Greg Spar, Wanda Solomon, or myself. That's the standard, and the resolution is available for your consideration today.
Motion by Greg, second by Martin, to approve the resolution updating Tribal Credit Department's bank account signatory authority. All in favor? I have to count again. Did James say yes?
Yes.
4, or did you vote for this? Okay. 8-4, 1 against Tom. Go ahead, Carol.
Yeah, Charmel, I'm kind of curious how the relationship is with the housing authority, with the student loans. Are you, with Eagle Bank, are you having like success? Because it seemed like the program, I mean, those entities are siloed when it comes to tribal credit. And I wanted to know if the relationship is starting to build and bind and do what it needs to do to have a good service for our membership.
Thank you for that question, Carol, and it is very important to us. Internally, our staff has been the catalyst, I would say, at gathering roundtable discussions with tribal lands, with Salish Kootenai Housing Authority, and with our department. We've also had the legal department, Dan Decker and Mike Wheeler, in on these roundtables. We've been reviewing the workflows and the requirements for mortgage processing in different land types, fee, trust, individual leaseholds. So we're looking at all of that, trying to figure out how we can be better at and improve the services to the membership by acknowledging workflows and seeing what we can trim out and what we can do in unison so that we have better responsive timeframes for processing those mortgages. I've also had conversations with the bank president with Eagle Bank. Some of the staff there, we have discussed with them the possibility of looking into packaging and selling some of our loans if that would be a move that we decide to make to help work on our reserve fund balance and things like that, improving our loan portfolio and making more funds available for underserved, the underserved part of our membership who might be waiting for loans in the future. I've also had conversations with bank president, vice president at Glacier and, or excuse me, with Valley Bank. Brenda. I was speaking with Brenda. We're working on making sure that we understand what's happening with them and with Eagle Bank on the HUD Section 184 loans and the processes that are changing with the way that First Tribal Lending is managing their construction loans and so forth. So we have a lot of collaboration. We intend, especially leading toward the 90-year anniversary celebration. We are looking and we're focusing on October. So just so you're aware, we're looking at the month of October as being the official celebration time, which correlates with the date that they took action in 1936 to establish the first loan committee. So at that time, I've asked the staff and the committee and to be thinking about ways that we might bring all of the local lenders together as well. Maybe do a little bit of collaboration, workshop training, something for the public to understand a little bit more about the lending environment.
I've also, Sovereign Leasing and Finance. Do you work with them?
You know, we haven't directly, and I'm glad that you mentioned that. I will intentionally reach out and see if we can bring some collaboration in with them.
And then one quick follow-up, John Whitworth that works at Mission West Development. I've worked with him on a business loan, and I tell you, it was probably the easiest opportunity that a person can access a small business loan. And I think it's something that we need to tweak our process so it can be easy. It doesn't need to be as I mean, I know it does, but it doesn't. And when I was so pleased, it just gave me just like, yeah.
I have worked with Mission West and with their lending and as a consultant, first of all, but I also have referred some of our clients to work with John specifically. They invited us to join them for kind of an open house and to start collaborating with lending. We attempted to go and join them for that brunch, and I think they had to reschedule, but we are working on bridging that.
I would like to go if I could, but I would also, Lynn has asked regarding the thing in Elmo, what is that? The travel plaza, to have John look at that. And so I'm gonna invite him in. I just wanted to make sure I have specifics to give to John. So when he comes in, he's not just all over the place. But yeah, and invite you over when he does come.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Martin?
We could make it the, instead of the Bear Track celebration, the Travel Credit Celebration on October 12th. Here you guys got a lot of money to put towards the celebration, so.
I know James is probably listening, but he probably wants to make a motion for some fund of some sort. No, I'm kidding. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sharmel. Nice to meet you, Jolene. Do we need to go into executive session, Lana? Out of regular session into executive session to meet with legal. Would you let Kathy know that we're done for the day then? Because our next meeting, unless she wants to stay for the tribal relations meeting, which is public, isn't it? Okay, if she wants to stay for that, she's welcome to, but let her know that this is our last agenda item. Hi, Lana. Hi, Austin.
Hi, members of council. I'm not sure if who can let in Stu and or others, I believe, that are in the waiting room. Lindsay, maybe. But, okay. Thank you. So today, I guess we have about 5 people updating on different subjects, and I'm gonna let Austin and
I'm sure that was my report, is what we gave earlier that when Austin asked us about the
fire meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Martin, did you have anything further?
Yeah, mine was the same thing, but I mean, I guess we could, just for the minutes, that we met with the rural fire department to discuss the upcoming fire season and the collaboration between CSKT and that organization.
Great. Did you get that, Abby?
Yeah.
Okay, and Martin and Carol attended that meeting. Go ahead, Lynn.
So I just wanted to get clarification. You set a date for April 20 and 23rd for council to make a decision on moving forward with the reorganization.
Yes, at the chairman's meeting, we discussed how action items are just kind of sitting around, and one of the big ones was reorganization. So I did talk to Jen, and she said that she would get it on the agenda. The 23rd is the gaming meeting at 1 o'clock, and so it would be after that to have discussion. And Danielle offered to get us some of the information that we talked about in Polson back in January. So we will be having that discussion. We at the chairman's meeting yesterday, we just talked about how it's hard to get all of us together on a non-council day, and so we thought, let's just try to do it on a council day, and hopefully we can get something
Just get
moving
it done.
forward.
Just get it done, right?
Just get her done. Okay, if there's nothing further, we need a motion to adjourn. Motion by Len. Seconded by Danielle. All in favor. And James had sent me a text, just there is no council meeting on Thursday due to not a quorum due to the medicine tree visit. Okay, have a break until the state tribal relations.
30?
Yes, 12:30.
Ikasatsan na po matsi siksiku and nistu stomachsina. Oh, I'm the one that brought that wind. I'm Chairman Tyson Running from Browning, so you guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I tried to say just stay home, but they says come over there and at least show them that you still can travel over that way. But I'll just let us do a little round of introductions of who we are. I just want to let our committee know that this is what we do. We go on a road show every other year and go to all of the tribes, and usually Confederate Salish and Cooney have a great turnout. As you see, there's only 2 council people missing, and we sure appreciate your guys' turnout, and that really means a lot to us. I know that during the session, your lobbyists, your staff, and you as council really take it serious, and it's beneficial on having that relationship building that we've had over the last, I don't know how many years you guys have been working it, but we sure appreciate it, and it's a strong force. And we sure enjoy the steak dinner that we have every year down at the golf course. So thank you and appreciate it, and we're pleased to be welcomed here. I'll start with Representative Schomer.
Thank you, Chair. Representative Curtis Schomer out of Billings, House District 48. I want to say thank you to everyone for having us here. This place is beautiful. Kind of just copying what Chair Running Wolf said, but yeah, thank you for the food and all your hospitality.
Mr. Chair, Council, great to be here. My name is Gail Lammers. I represent Senate District 21. I'm down in Hardin, Montana. Got the Crow Tribe, Northern Cheyenne Tribe down there, and I know a lot of my friends, they frequent up here. They go to school up here, and my mom's from up here, and I just love coming up here. And I just want to say I appreciate you guys being so hospitable and great lunch. And I sit on energy, and it's a really interesting project you have going out there on the dam. It was really amazing. And I just think you guys have a real secret sauce going on here, and everybody could learn from it. So thank you for having us. Thanks.
I'm Representative Tyson Running Wolf, Blackfoot Naik, Stomachsina, Buffalo Bull Chief. I always come over, when I come over here, I'm sure I'm jealous. I have envy, and my ego has to go hide somewhere else because of all the great things that you guys have got going on here. We went and visited the school, and we sure enjoyed visiting the dam. Thank you, and we're excited to hear more of what you guys got going on.
Chair Council, I'm Terry Nelson from House District 87, which is down in the beautiful Bitterroot. I actually grew up off of Salish Trail that just came off of Kootenai Creek Road, so really enjoy being up here, and thank you very much for having us.
Okay, I'm Susan Weber, Senator Susan Weber, Senate District 8, and I represent two tribes, the Blackfeet and the Confederated Salish and Kootenai, so I'm your state representative in the Senate side, or a portion of your reservation. I just love coming over here. We go through here all the time to get to Missoula, but I just love when I look over here, I see your tribal complex, and I just admire it. It was a beautiful little field trip we had today. The young man that was giving us the tour, and he was so informative. I learned so much today already. So I just really appreciate that, and thank you for hosting us.
Hi, I'm Len Bennett, and I represent House District 4, which is Whitefish and Columbia Falls. Whitefish from Baker all the way to the river in Columbia Falls. So it's two downtowns. And it is such an honor to be here. I truly appreciate your hospitality and inviting us in to see all the great things you're doing with the college. And it was wonderful to see the dam. I just appreciate it so much.
Shelley Fayette, House District 91. Just a reminder where my district covers Round Butte Road South on the west side of Highway 93, down to the river in Perma, that's Sanders County, and then it skips the town of Mission. It goes to Arley, where I live, across the primitive area of the South Fork, and then into the Rattlesnake Wilderness and the Upper Rattlesnake urban area in Missoula. So I am up for re-election this year. So yeah, representatives, we serve every 2 years, and senators serve 4 years. So.
Very much, Madam Vice Chairman, Jonathan Windyboy, Senator from Senate District 16 from Box Elder to Culbertson, a lot of miles. And I want to thank Senator Shane Morshow for getting up and moving that I be recognized as the Dean of the Montana Senate, which basically is a fancy term for saying longest serving. But I thank you too. It's been a while since I've been here, and it's always an honor, and it always amazes me how far forward thinking that your tribe is here, and by far it set great examples. It's just like the issue of the community health aid program that you guys are moving forward on, and it's really it's a breath of fresh air for me to see how things are happening. And just like my colleague here, Representative Wyant, mentioning about elections, if I may be off the record, Mr. Chairman, that I too, I'm not here as a capacity of my Congress candidacy on the eastern side of the district, but I am running. And once I get to DC, just know I'm not going to forget you. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Vice Chair Plouffe. I'll turn it over to.
Thank you. Well, welcome for those of you that are here for the very first time, and for those of you that have visited us before. And thank you, Shane, for organizing this meeting. Shane and Jordan do an awesome job for us in Helena with the legislators. The relationship that we have with you guys is something that's very important to us. Communication with us is important, consultation. Tribal leaders need to be heard, and you guys are that conduit, to get things out there for us. So we just appreciate it. We appreciate you visiting here and be ready to listen to our concerns. Thank you. And I will start, could we do introductions, Lynn? Start down there, Greg?
Sorry, been here for about 3 months on the tribal council. So I've been looking forward to this discussion and hopefully we can rewrite history, do it right this time.
Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Len Two-Teeth. I represent the Elmo district. And I just really appreciate you guys all taking the time to come over and visit with us. These are always important gatherings and we need to let the people know that we have these meetings and we're working together. So once again, thank you. Thank you for your leadership.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for coming. Tom McDonald, I'm the tribal council rep at large, so my district is the entire reservation. This is my second term, starting my second term on council. I'm a retired Fish and Wildlife Director for the tribes. Spent the last 42 years working for the, well, I guess now I'm starting my 47th year working for the tribes, but 42 years in the tribal government working. So a lot of things I certainly can speak to and just deeply appreciate your consideration and being inclusive and hitting the road and being here. And despite the wind that he brought with him, it's good to see you all. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Danielle Matt from the Schleep District, formerly known as Dixon. Just happy you guys are here with us today, and there's good food. I'm not the caterer today, sorry guys, but shout out to Guy Hill. Charcusta's back here. Thank you, Marianne, for being with us, and our auxiliary staff here that kind of helps us be good hosts. So no, thanks for being here. Look forward to the conversation.
I do want to welcome you all. My name is James Bing Matt. That's my nickname is Bing. Nobody knows by James, so everybody calls me Bing around here. It's good to see Chairman Running Wolf, Senator Weber, and also Senator Wendy Boy here again. It's been a while since we've seen them, but I'm glad you're all here and hope you enjoyed your stay and hope you enjoyed the scenery and whatever else you got to see around here. So glad you're here. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Martin Charlo. I represent the Pablo district. I've met a few of you guys. I appreciate you guys coming here, understanding our kind of standing within the state as a sovereign nation. It's always important to have these type of meetings and welcome to our home. Like I tell a lot of people, it's a beautiful place. Come and visit and enjoy your trip home. So thank you.
Ukiyit. I knew I was going to hit that. Good afternoon. I'm Carol Langford. I have served on the tribal council for 33 years. And sometimes I feel like it too, but really glad that you could make it, and especially taking part in the dam, going out to see that and see the college. I mean, we've got a lot of things going on here, and it's really nice that we can share what we're doing and show you that we're moving forward. And I also want to let Shelley know condolences on your mom, the loss of your mom. So anyway, thank you all for coming today.
Jamie Pluff, newly elected as of January with Greg, but I also served on tribal council from 1998 to 2006. So it's kind of a second run here. So I'm the new person, but the old person. But again, welcome, and I'll turn it back over to you, Chairman Running Wolf.
Playing tag because actually we're here to listen, but I do want to give a shout out. Where's that young guy at, that Shane Morjo? He took off running. We want to thank him too, because he was herding us around this morning and he come up and he said, Tyson, you got 10 minutes here.
Tyson, you got 5 minutes over here. Get them rolling and get them going. And he helped get a lot of this going. He does such a great job for you, for your community, your council, and your people. We sure appreciate Shane. Everybody give him a round of applause. No, I'm just kidding. He put me up to that. That's what they do. I don't know. But we also want to thank, like you said, Jordan. I've worked with Jordan all my terms through, and even like I thought he was gone forever. Then he just kind of shows back up. We sure appreciate it. We understand and know the plight you guys have gone through with the 280. We know it. We understand. And I know that we're supporting CSKT in any way we can to help make that happen. Well, I just want to put that out there right off the bat so that we're not bouncing back and forth. And we know that that's an issue that has to be taken care of here at the local level. So first, I want to make sure that's out there and going. And from there, I'll turn it back over to you, and we're here to listen. Unless any of the committee had anything right off, but I think that's what we decided.
Okay. Well, I think I touched on a little bit in my welcome. I think communication is very important, and that is consultation with tribes. And I appreciate what you guys do going out to visit all the reservations, and that each tribe is unique in all the differences that we need. I had the opportunity in January. I was at a Pathways to Sovereignty meeting in Missoula with some of you. And it was the first time that they had said that there was tribal leaders and legislators in the room at the same time, seeking priorities and looking at priorities. And one of the main focuses was consultation. And so I think that's one of our top priorities as it is for most tribes. So just wondering, what work is going on with consultation, right now?
They get the red light.
Okay. It was tired of me talking. That's what is taking a break. But the Pathways of Sovereignty was a great starting point. In the past, I know Susan tried to bring a bill forward, and it just wasn't the right time. And we felt that we needed to bring it forward to this committee. And one of my committee members today said, do we even bring bills forward or pass bills out of this committee? Well, last session, we passed 9 bills out of there, and we did a really excellent job and got them all through because of working with tribes, working with other legislators, and also working with both sides of the aisle to get them through. While consultation is one of them, both sides of the aisle legislation that has to happen. I know that in the next couple of days, well, actually tomorrow, we're going to be giving the direction for our staffers to start drafting up some stuff. And I want to thank Councillor Charlo for coming when we did the consultation discussion. I know that they were well aware of it, and our last session in Helena directly was around how other states and nations are doing consultation. And so even though sometimes I feel like we're behind the curve, I think we're right in line with all the rest of the states. It's just who's going to get one across the finish line. That's going to work for everyone. A perfect example of consultation breakdown was the Indian fee waiver. There was no consultation, and it just went with straight with the administrative rule, and it caught all of us off guard. And it's been in the newspapers for the last couple of weeks, and actually for the last couple of months. There's some benefits to it, and there's some negatives to it, but it would have been the best if we could have all come together. And that was what the intent was in the very beginning, that we were going to bring one together that we could kind of showcase of the fee waiver coming through. And so if we have more of them non-consultation, it just causes conflict in the state with tribes in the state. So we're working hard to make that happen. I think Jonathan has other things to add to that because he helped get a bill passed earlier in his, I think 33 years, no, I'm just kidding, 20 some years ago of him being in it on a step forward on consultation that sometimes we forget. Jonathan?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Madam Chair and Council. The additions I want to add to the conversation is it's true in 2003, that was the first piece of legislation I got passed in my career 24 years ago. And the key components in that law that is in existing MCA, I think it, correct me if I'm wrong, Casey, is 2-15-142. And there are 5 guiding principles, early communication, all of that stuff that goes along with it, and understanding and supporting what my Senate colleague was trying to do in the last session is what I see missing out of it are penalties. And if the state is not following with that consultation, then there should be some kind of penalty for not following the law. So I guess in a nutshell, everything needs to be improved through time, I guess. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other committee members have anything to add to that? Senator Weber?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Madam Chair, Council. When we started this and Casey Pallister, our staffer, was really crucial and instrumental in what I wanted to do. And what I wanted to do was have a definition of tribal consultation that fits every tribe. That when they talk to Blackfeet, it's the same definition as when they talk to Confederated Salish and Kootenai, if they talk to the Assiniboine Sioux from Fort Peck, so that we're all on the same, we're across the board. And then if there's something particular that you have that you need to speak to the state with, then the state will also know that where their boundaries are. And so I wanted it as simple as possible, that there's no question. I've had 12 years in the state legislature, in the House and in the Senate. And there's a lot of confusion on the part of state programs or state departments. They don't know how to talk to the tribes because there's no definition. So they take it one by one. And then there's all this confusion of what is really tribal consultation? What is meaningful tribal consultation? So that was the whole point of the bill that I put forward, was to make it so that everybody, the tribes and the state, have that same definition. And there's no questions when it comes to when we talk to one another. We're not talking through one another. So that was the impetus behind the bill, and it just got really carried away. The legislature didn't know either, and so they everybody had their own definition. Everybody had their own whatever to see what I was trying to get at. So I'm hoping that when this interim committee meets and that we put out another bill, this is where you would come in, that we can get that across with everybody. So it was simple, and then it got blown up. It was like an atomic bomb, but so that's where I was coming from with the tribal consultation bill.
Senator Windyboy?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If I may add, Mr. Chairman and Vice Chair, over the course of the 24 years that I've seen, I tried to amalgamate a lot of my thoughts over the years of how this thing, first of all, in 1998, Madam Vice Chair, was the same year I got elected onto my tribal council. We served throughout that term, and we've seen a lot of changes that we see today that we did when we first started back in those days. And thinking about this particular issue is that the tribes have always been at a disadvantage. And why I say that is because in this last legislative session, when Senate Bill 797, which basically tells every department of the state to show the tribes how much money they're giving the tribes, because right now, and I'm sure that you probably don't know the amount that your tribe is receiving from the state and what services that the state receives from the federal grants that they receive for those services. And a lot of the tribes around the state that I've heard from don't know that 15% is just a percentage of admin fees that's getting tacked on from those. As we all know how these federal grants work, that there is a percentage there that we're supposed to report of what we're doing for the service that we provide. And that's one of the disadvantages that tribes have had all along, is because when the state receives that federal grant, and then once they provide the services that is supposed to be written into the grant, tribes have not seen the report that the state gives back to the feds for what they've done. And that's one disadvantage. And I think that's a part of the issue with that, the way I've seen it, looking at the bigger picture of things. And that I think is what my colleague is, and I don't want to speak for her, but I think that's what needs to happen, is that being a part of the equation as far as the definition of that. So I think that this thing is just so wide open for discussion, and I want to thank you for prioritizing this, Mr. Chairman.
Any more? Representative Fayette.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So at the Pathways to Sovereignty, for those of you that weren't there, I think two of the things that I came away with was, tribal consultation needs to be in person and meaningful. It can't just be a letter that might get lost at the tribal complex or whatever. And it also needs to be before any policy is developed, because a lot of times, say an agency will develop a plan or a policy and then bring it to the tribe and say, what do you think? Instead of us being at the table together, forming that very policy. There's so many diverse agencies within the state, like DNRC, DPHHS, Department of Ag, DLI, very diverse agencies with diverse missions and funding. And then if you look at our tribes, we have very diverse tribes. Like the Crow tribe is very different from how we're organized just as a body. So whatever this policy is, it needs to fit both the diverse agencies and the diverse tribes. So it needs to be generic enough, but to have teeth to it, that to add to what's already in the Montana code right now. When Senator Weber brought the bill, it came to one of the committees I sat on, State Administration, and basically it died by fiscal note. They said it was going to cost, I don't know, millions of dollars. And DNRC alone said, I think they were going to need, was it 4 FTEs? Yeah. They were going to need like 4 full-time equivalents to administer it. And yeah, so there was that part. Also related to what Jonathan was talking about, we did pass a bill last session, and the first report will be out this December to specifically report what each agency received in federal pass-through dollars and what the state kept as their indirect costs or overhead, whatever you want to call it. So that first report will be out this December.
Thanks. I'll turn it back over to you guys. I don't want to plug it up too deep so we don't get too convoluted. So we'll just keep rolling with you.
No, we appreciate that. I think everybody has a different perspective, but we're all on the same point. So I appreciate all the comments. I'm gonna ask Glenn.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Yeah, I just wanted to mention about the consultation. Tony Nkashola and Kate McDonald and myself provided testimony to this committee here some time ago. And we talked specifically on how we think consultation should be. And one of the ideas was to make sure that we, depending on what the issue is, that we identify those certain staff members that have that expertise in that, and we include our elders in that conversation. So my question is are we going to be getting a written policy in place spelling all that out? And if so, when can we expect it? And the reason why I ask that question is because I think it should be something that we need to have in place before the next legislative session. So we have that spelled out and we know exactly how we're going to move forward depending on what kind of bill affects us and how we can strategize in addressing those issues.
Thank you, Councillor Toothteeth. And then I also want to thank you and your staff for coming down and testifying and giving your guys' input on the consultation panel that we had. It was really great and we sure appreciate it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over to our staffer, Casey Pallister, and he's going to give a trajectory of kind of where it's going to go and what we're thinking of. And then we'll be passing that actually tomorrow where we're going to make it happen in the bill's direction. Good luck.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For the record, Casey Pallister, Pallister. I'm lead staff for the State Tribal Relations Committee. Mr. Toothteeth, as Chair Running Wolf said, tomorrow in Browning, the committee is going to be, excuse me, looking at a couple of options for state tribal consultation based on research that they've asked me to do. One is a revised version of Senate Bill 379, which was the bill that Senator Weber ran last session. Another would be an option for a pilot program, which would be sort of testing with a few agencies the consultation process. So Senator Weber's bill last session involved hiring of a tribal liaison for each of the 15 what we call umbrella agencies. A liaison that would have certain responsibilities like the training of staff within the agency, serving as a point of contact, and other requirements. That was one issue that people brought up in opposition to the bill, how to employ those folks, or if they could be designated people that were hired already by the agency. So that was one part of Senate Bill 379. Another part was as Senator Weber said, a revised definition that was uniform and in line with federal definitions of consultation. There was also, this would all be incorporated into Senator Wendy Boy's original statutes. And so some of the concerns, as were already mentioned, were fiscal. The major concerns were, and how it could be implemented for every consultation case. And so the bill did not pass through. It passed through the Senate, but not through the House. So one idea would be to, as I said, implement a pilot program that would potentially have 2 or 3 agencies employ a tribal liaison or a point of contact, create a written consultation policy, which I forgot to mention was the heart of Senate Bill 379. Each agency would have a written consultation policy that would be made in conjunction with the tribes, one policy for all tribes. And this pilot program would run for a couple of years to see how things went and see how changes could be made. So that's option number 2. And then there's also the option of more targeted and specific approaches. So a bill that just tries to create a definition, or a bill that just tries to establish each agency having a point of contact, or certain specific elements from 379 that could be each